Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sleep like a lot.
With Momoshiki choosing to revive Boruto at the expense of Momoshiki being able to revive himself using Boruto's body, I've seen a bit of a mixed reaction among fans. Some fans are okay with this trade-off, Momoshiki being brought back to life, therefore he can't resurrect using Boruto's body. However, on the other side, I've also seen people say that this ruined Momoshiki's character. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of Momoshiki and Boruto teaming up, and while I previously stated last week as of this recording that even though I'm not a big fan of it, I've kind of resigned myself to the possibility of Momoshiki and Boruto becoming best buddies like Naruto and Kurama. I can't go as far as to say that that's outright ruined Momoshiki's character. In fact, in a weird way, I think that this is just enough that it might actually help it. Now, the reason why I say this is if we go by just the anime, Momoshiki, in my opinion, he's a bit bland. Yes, he's had moments where he's been devious, like that classic moment of savagery where he used Naruto as a walking chakra tank before he destroyed Boro using a Rasengan, or when he destroyed Sasuke's Rinnegan using a kunai. However, for me personally, that alone wasn't enough to get Momoshiki any real heat as a villain. For me, he was always just there. The next alien bad guy that popped up after Kaguya. Nothing more, nothing less. However, this moment right here offered a real change to me. Momoshiki, by saving Boruto, might have done so at his own best self-interest so as to keep himself from ceasing to exist, because karma serves as a container for his soul, but he also brought Boruto back to life. He didn't have to do so. He could have just allowed him to die, and the reason why this fascinates me so much is I see a possible connection being built here, but you have to dig deeper past the surface to get to this point, which is in line with the Naruto franchise as a whole. Naruto as a series has always hammered into our heads that a ninja must always learn to see past deception. I think this scene is another classic example of that. There's a hidden meaning here. Now, normally this would be where I would bring up the mythology, but for this video, I'm not going to do any of that. Instead, I want to go back to our first introduction of Momoshiki as a character. Not the version from the Boruto anime or the Boruto manga. I mean the version that Naruto series creator Masashi Kishimoto created for Boruto Naruto the movie. So when we look at Momoshiki as Kishimoto envisioned him for the movie, in particular the extra information that the movie light novel gives us, Momoshiki in a lot of ways mirrors Boruto. Both were prodigy talents, neither had to work particularly hard for their talent. In the case of Momoshiki, he didn't have to work hard, period. He was just that strong and was fixated on eating chakra fruits and getting chakra pills to extend his immortality. When Boruto was confronted with Momoshiki, Boruto felt ashamed for having used the ninja tools, because seeing the way that Momoshiki conducted himself made Boruto realize that by using the ninja tools to ninjutsu instead of doing what Sasuke told him to do, which is work hard and train and develop your own jutsu, in that moment Boruto realized he wasn't any better than Momoshiki. That was a really great character moment for Boruto. However, I always got the feeling that Boruto wasn't the only one who sensed a similarity between himself and Momoshiki, and this chapter has me thinking that all the same. Momoshiki viewed humans as uncivilized barbarians who couldn't and shouldn't be using chakra, and that they were just fertilizer for chakra fruit. I always use the example, do you look at your burger and feel sympathy for it, or do you just eat it? That's how Tsuki tend to view humans. However, he said a few things that really stood out to me. In the Japanese version of the chapter, he says that it was worth sticking around and watching Boruto so he could see things play out, almost as if he was fascinated by him. Momoshiki knows that Boruto has a rough fate ahead of him, but he doesn't tell him what exactly that is, which adds another layer to the character. It's almost sadist-like when you think about it. Now, a sadist is somebody who derives pleasure from inflicting pain, suffering, and humiliation upon others. By telling Boruto that he knew Boruto was in for a rough fate and that this experience with death wasn't Boruto's moment where he lost everything, Momoshiki has given himself a way to further torment Boruto, because it makes Boruto wonder, what is it that can be worse than my own death? No longer is Boruto going to stay up late at night playing video games because he's scared of going to sleep like he was in Boruto episode 220, because he was worried that Momoshiki would take over his body. Instead, he's going to have a subconscious alarm going off in his head because Momoshiki told him the moment he would lose everything was soon approaching, and despite him being able to see the future, Momoshiki flat out refused to explain it in the chapter. While he did say he couldn't see everything, including why, only that the event itself would be a spectacle. What this does is makes you wonder how much of what Momoshiki said can be taken at face value. Momoshiki made it clear that he got great joy out of watching Boruto suffer, which doesn't make the idea of him holding back any information for his own enjoyment sound that crazy in my opinion. If he told Boruto the truth, then opened up that door for there to be a possible way to prevent the moment from passing, which would kill any excitement and entertainment that Momoshiki might get. That makes perfect sense in my opinion. Destiny, fate, chains on a wheel that never ends. Those are all concepts that we all saw play out in the Naruto manga. Boruto's manga, if we really dive deeply into it, has been a story about breaking the chains and breaking the wheel altogether, and not just one chain or one wheel, but the entire production system that made them in the first place, which that is a video in of itself. We've already seen Boruto and Kawaki free themselves of karma in the sense that the Otsutsuki who gave them the karma seal, Momoshiki and Ishiki respectively, they can't resurrect into their bodies again and erase their souls completely. However, the idea that if Boruto can break free of the prophecy that Momoshiki gave him, if that is true, then it would further add credence to why Momoshiki would have taken this route. If he's been entertained watching Boruto struggle with the karma seal, the lingering doubts about his own destiny, while wondering if every moment he spent with a loved one would be the last one that they would share together, then there exists the possibility that he wants to see if Boruto can try and fail to figure out this prophecy and change it himself. Momoshiki right now has the chance to be an antagonist who isn't good or bad. He's just someone who acts for his own goals and self-interest. He's there to antagonize Boruto where needed, but ultimately he has his own purpose, which very well might be just ultimately surviving inside of Boruto, or it could be what I'm beginning to suspect, that Masashi Kishimoto is going back to the idea that Boruto and Momoshiki, they mirror each other, which means that their destinies could otherwise intertwine, which opens up the door for the moment that Boruto loses everything. It could be something that could impact Momoshiki as well as in particular the fallout of that moment hitting Boruto in full force, once again forcing Momoshiki to tip his hand. It's for that reason I don't think we saw Momoshiki's character getting ruined. I think it added another layer to his character without changing it fundamentally. Otsutsuki are scared of death. It's one of the benefits of them using the karma seal. If by chance they do die, they revive into a new body and then they've been upgraded via evolution. Momoshiki saving Boruto allowed Momoshiki to continue to exist inside of his soul, regardless of what that high price was. Someone who doesn't want to go into the unknown of death, pulling a stunt like this, it makes perfect sense in my opinion. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this matter? Let me know down in the comment section below. So always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.